What is going on, everybody? UFC Atlanta official recap on Father's Day. So happy Father's Day for you out there. And if you're not a father, well, happy day to you too. You may have a dog, you may have another animal. I'm not really a cat guy, but I get it. Companionship is companionship, all the same. Yeah, we're here about trying to make money and figure out where we went right and where we went wrong, which favorites were the apple pie shitters, which one of the guys you never want to bet on these guys ever again, and which guys like Cody Bumdage went out and pulled the stunt again. So a lot of the same things we've been dealing with. But yeah, we got a happy-go-lucky recap. So let me figure out how to jump into this solo. Always missing my boy Paul Shaughnessy with the technical abilities. But yeah, all right, here we go. Off and going. Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos in the night's opener. I don't think anybody was on Vanessa Demopoulos. There's a thought process that maybe she's the higher volume striker, but I think at weigh-ins, when you saw the two compared to each other, tells you everything you need to know. Vanessa Demopoulos is not a flyweight. She spent her entire career at 115 pounds. By straw weight standing, she's really not even that big. She's thick in the ace, if you know what I mean. But outside of that, like, she's a short fighter. I don't think she would have long-term success at 125. And the UFC didn't simply say, here's a fellow flyweight fighter. They said, here's one of the biggest 125ers that we have in the division in Jamie Lahore. So how do you beat her? You got BJJ, but you're not going to take her down. And that became apparent. The jiu-jitsu's out the window if you can't get a takedown. And not only could Vanessa Demopoulos not take down Jamie Lee Horth, she came nowhere close. They got technically an 0-5 with a minute of control time, but the bottom line is none of these takedowns even came anywhere close to the target. Outstruck 35-5 in the first. Second round, she had a little bit of a better go at things. And then in the third round, again, not much doing. Loses all three rounds, 30-27, pretty clean. The only thing that I really have to add to that is that minus 600, minus 700, even a guy like me that thinks Horth is going to win, I can't do anything with that. It's women's MMA. So we attacked the over 2.5, which was minus 410, which I thought was fair. Fight time, not fight time, day of the fight, it drops to minus 350. Even better, I load up. Come fight time, it got down to minus 300. I totally missed the line on that one. Should have sat on it, didn't. And then watching the first round, Horth almost put Demopoulos down twice. Big right hand rocks her. She's busting her up. She's moving her backwards. She's making her desperate. This over does not look like it's going to hit. And your best case scenario is it was still minus 300. So it wasn't a great look. Second round is where she settled a little bit, had some better success. Still lost. You took the shots a little bit better, returned fire. Third round, I just needed her hold on for 2.5 minutes, and she did that. When she ended up on her back, she throws up guard. She can hold on. Vanessa Demopoulos is in a weird situation. You look at now 3-fight losing streak. 115 is not working out. So you move up to 125, and that sure as shit ain't working out. Well, what do? Right? You drop down to 115. That seems logical, but you're now on a 3-fight losing streak, 37, 38 years old, getting older in the division. And this is just like so uninspiring top to bottom. Kudos to her for showing the heart and durability to get me that over 2.5. But outside of that, Vanessa Demopoulos, even when she does win, they're all contentious split decisions that most people thought she lost. If the judges had got her fights right, she could theoretically be on like a 6-fight losing streak right now. I don't know that the UFC cuts her because I think they like her. I think she's somewhat marketable, someone you could throw on those early prelims. She generally wants to make her fight exciting. Not that this one was particularly exciting. It was just a really bad style clash for her. So Vanessa Demopoulos loses. Horth, solid performance. Big girl, machine, cardio solid, can strike. Still a little stiff and robotic. Still a tad bit slow. But when I say slow, it's like the jab couldn't miss. She was super accurate. She was popping up Demopoulos at will. Got to give her credit which credit's due. She made the thing look easy. So credit to Jamie Lahorth, scores the win. Should have taken her by decision. Instead, took a terrible price on the over 2.5. Lisa Chash, whatever. Phil Rowe versus Loosa. Got some Loosa, got some over 2.5 as well. So this is where the real story of this one was. Similar to Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos, you've got a huge size advantage. So Phil Rowe at range should be able to just eat up Loosa, right? How is he going to explode into the pocket? How is he going to really fight him at range? So in the first round, Loosa attempt to just strike with him, and he's lunging. He's having success. Don't get me wrong. He's landing some left hooks. He's landing some nice straight rights down the middle. Is that you'll notice if you watch this thing back, is that he's not using his feet to throw something, disguise something, shuffle his feet, an inch closer to his opponent, and then nuke him once he's in range. He's literally exploding way from the outside, diving in with one singular shot at a time. Big explosive movement, touches the target, and then has to jump back at range. So that's not going to work long term because it's going to be exhausting, exploding constantly to land one punch. So even though he starts off the round decent, landing a few strikes, Rowe nails him with a nice right hand to the top of the head. And Loosa figures, you know what, screw this. I'm shooting the takedown. Gets the takedown easy, as we thought he would. Controls Rowe easy, as we thought he would. Rowe's got long legs. Rowe's a BJJ black belt. Rowe's got shit off his back. And that was the key to the first round. Loosa made us look like we were spot on this one. Second round, Loosa's starting to tire a little bit. I wouldn't say gassed. I'm saying those big explosive movements from the outside to land punches, maybe not working quite as well. And then I just want him to go right back to the takedown. He's like hesitant. He does shoot a beautiful one. Phil Rowe does an excellent job of switching his hips and getting back up. Shoots a nice second takedown, briefly gets Rowe down. Rowe does a great job of popping back up. So I can't discredit Rowe. His takedown defense in the second round did look good. It allowed him to maintain upright, and then he just starts teeing off on Loosa. Big combinations, extending them 2, 3, 4 at a time. Loosa's reeling. Loosa's tired. Phil grabs him, overzealous. Tall man defense, head straight up in the air, tries to grab this tie clinch, and Loosa just bombs him with 2, 3 nice right hands. Folds Rowe. Rowe flops to his back. Loosa jumps on top. Round ends. Now, this is a round that's otherwise Phil Rowe all day long. But the last 10, 20 seconds is Phil Rowe getting dropped and Loosa ending on top of him in a dominant position. The knockdown's got to score for something. It wasn't like he got killed the entire second round. He shot a few takedowns. He landed some decent strikes. It's enough for me personally to give that second round to Loosa. So now he's up to nothing. Really just needs to survive in the third round. Third round, yeah, he's tired, but it's all about just survival. And he seems to be doing a pretty good job at surviving. Till about 2 minutes left in the fight. At that point, Rowe touches him with a beautiful right hand. Mouthpiece comes flying out. Ref, country bumpkin, doesn't understand, doesn't see it, and allows the action to continue. Rowe, it takes advantage. He capitalizes. He just bombs him with 40, 50 unanswered punches. You can see by the punch stats. First round, 15-2. Loosa wins the round. Second round, Loosa still wins the round. Gets the knockdown, lands some good strikes. Not bad. This third round, 49-7. And when I say 49, the vast majority of those came in that 90-second, minute and 20-second, 80-second time frame that he had to just unload on him. Ref doesn't notice the mouth guard's out. Loosa just starts taking a bunch of shots and eventually folds down. Now, part of me is happy because the over 2.5 still hit. The other part of me is not happy because I had Loosa ticket and I had him on some parlays. So it's like I want to complain. I want to complain. You check on the internet, people are complaining. Oh, the mouth guard. Oh, it's mouth guard gate. Can't believe they screwed him. Well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword on this one, right? I have two personal feelings, and I lost money on Loosa. But here's the personal feeling. First and foremost, the ref should explain this to the fighter in the backstage. Keeping your mouth guard in your mouth is your responsibility, right? You should be having this. It should be not a boil and bite. It should be a custom mouthpiece, and it should be lodged in. And if the guy cracks you with one hell of a shot and it causes the mouthpiece to come out, well, that's a damaging blow. If I see the mouth guard fall, okay, I'm going to acknowledge it. But at the same time, I can't stop the fight. It's your responsibility to keep it in your mouth, A. B, I can't stop the fight to put the mouth guard in. What I can do is there's a lull in action. Stop. Give him the mouth guard. This idiot didn't even notice the mouth guard was on the canvas at any point. But beyond that, I just want you to keep in mind. Let's say you're the referee and you're going to give Loosa back the mouth guard as soon as there's a natural break. There was no natural break. Once that mouth guard came flying out, Rowe just teed off. He did not give him a second. It would have been highly, highly unfair for the ref to stop that sequence that was progressing to say, hey, wait. You spit your mouth guard out. Hey, rinse it off, corner, rinse it off. Okay, here you go. 90 seconds left, go. No, you can't do that. If Rowe would have taken a step back, if Rowe would have shot a takedown, if somehow Loose spread away and then got his feet going and was able to get away and get some distance and circle out and point at the whatever. If there's a natural lull, then stop it. There wasn't. Rowe never left him off the hook. So it would have been incompetent reffing to stop it, to give him the mouth back. It was his fault it fell out in the first place. As much as you can say that's unfair, it wasn't his fault. It popped out. He got punched in the face. His mouth guard came out, and then Rowe just capitalized and took advantage. You can't steal that moment away from Phil Rowe just because because why not just spit out your mouth guard? Oh, I'm hurt. Puh. Stop it. Oh, they can't let me take this damage anymore. I got no mouth guard. It's on you, dog. It's on you. And Rowe did an excellent job of capitalizing. So it's a weird sequence. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a weird sequence. It's unusual. It's not something I expected to happen. With the mouth guard in, is there a better possibility that Loosa makes it to the third round, end of the third? I think there is, sure, but it wasn't meant to be. And even with the mouth guard, he probably still gets teed off on. That looks like a 10-8 round as far as I'm concerned. And then it's a draw, best case scenario. You don't lose, you get a void. We'd be happy with that. But fair is fair. And if it was roles reversed and the ref screwed my Phil Rowe bet because he decided to give Loosa a break in the middle of a drubbing late in the third round to give him his mouth guard back, well, I'd be pissed, right? So you just got to accept the bounces sometimes. Cameron Smotherman versus Ricky Simon, whatever you want to call him. Doesn't matter. Pretty Ricky. Watched this one with my daughter before I put her to bed. And I was like, come on, Ricky. And then she's good at these like little short names. She's like, Ricky, go Ricky. First round, we are having a Ricky party. Third round, we're holding on for dear Ricky life. Listen, Simone had an easy path to victory here. He could just take him down early, often, control him. It's the same thing that's happened to Smotherman every time. Smotherman's on short notice. This is going to be Ricky Simone takedown Cite. First round, it played out like that. He got one single takedown, capitalizes for 4.5 minutes of the round. It's easy money. The second round, it's like see 1 for 1. It's like, Ricky, why is this not 1 for 1 at the beginning of the round? Or better yet, 3 for 3 or 1 for 3 or 2 for 5. I don't know. Shoot a lot more than he was doing. In the second round, he was cool with standing with Smotherman. Smotherman landed some decent shots. The striking numbers were close. And then at the later half of the round, Ricky decides, I need that takedown. Gets the takedown. Almost 3 minutes of control time there. This thing's easy. We're up 2-0. We're up 2-0 all day. But this is prize fighting. And like, Ricky's a little bit older. Ricky's not really the guy he used to be. And where he shot 2 takedowns in the first and 1 in the second, the third round, he shot 7 of them. And at this point, it's like he just can't quite get them. He does get some control time, but credit to Cameron Smotherman. It's like wrestling has always been his issue. He got exposed bad against Series City in his UFC debut. And now he's taking on a guy far prolific as a takedown artist and grappler than Series City and Ricky Simone. And he showed a ton of improvements. His get-up game in the third round was way better, created some space, did a good job. Ultimately, just wasn't enough. Even if you can go out there and wins this third round, which I believe he won the third round, 17-11, kept getting back up, made him work, stung him with a couple nice right hands. Ricky wasn't a fish out of water that third round. It just wasn't a great third round for him. And then we get 230-27. So as soon as those were announced, it's like, this is easy money. Refs were obviously looking at control time instead of damage. And as a result, Ricky Simone clean sweeps the scorecards. I would say for Cameron Smotherman, I hope they don't cut him, even though he's 0-2 and can't wrestle. He's getting better. He's young. He's getting better. He trains with a fantastic group of guys. No doubt about it. Eventually, that takedown defense will be okay. It will get to a level where it's serviceable. And his striking is good. It's just taking on 25 fight UFC veterans like Ricky Simone, guys that have headlined a UFC card, a fight night, versus Song Yadong. Like, that's a really, you just lost to Series City. Now you're taking on Ricky. That is a step forward, not a step back. The UFC needs to give him that step back, build this guy up a little bit. He's got a fun fight style. He comes to entertain. It's just, yeah, these wrestlers are always going to be kryptonic to him. So just try not to book him with them, really. Jose Ochoa versus Cody Durden. On the preview show, I didn't mind Cody Durden. I didn't mind Cody Durden for the simple fact that he's the best wrestler that Ochoa's faced. He's in Atlanta. He's going to feed off this live crowd. Ochoa's still young. He's green in his own ways. And I didn't overly care for the -190, -180 on Ochoa. So I was like, maybe Durden is a possible dog play. And then, I had to slap myself and come back to reality. First of all, if you're watching this show, you know me. And if you know me, King of Peru. If you're Peruvian, I'm in. These guys have 2 things better than anybody. And they can't wrestle with the Russians, and they can't grapple with the Brazilians, and they can't strike with the Americans. In this case, I suppose they did. But the 2 things that Peruvians do better than anybody is I think they got better durability than Mexican fighters, if you can believe that. And they've got better cardio than pretty well anybody. Like, because they're all at altitude in Peru and they can take one hell of a punch, they're all dangerous. They're all dangerous because if you want to go chin for chin or gas tank for gas tank with a Peruvian, you're going to lose. And so that's when it dawned on me. It's like, oh, why do people love Cody Durden? Because he's fun. He's entertaining. You don't go to a Cody Durden fight and yawn. You don't fall asleep. You don't get bored. It's like the guy goes out and he fights. But what's Cody Durden's problem is that he is increasingly in love with testing you chin for chin, heart for heart, gas tank for gas tank. He wants to push a pace and try to break you down. He wants to slug you with his best punch. You slug him with your best one. That was just a really poor way to fight a guy like Jose Ochoa. You saw in the first round, he did get the takedown. Sorry, 2 for 4 on takedowns. Ochoa's ground game, good. Sorry, I should say ground game good. His get-up game, good. Not great, but good. He accepted the positions a little bit. You'll see almost a minute 42 of control time in that first round. But even then, it's like he would take the time, he'd clear the leg, he'd pop out to a hip, he'd push the head, he'd create that space, and then he'd go back at range. At range, he's just way faster than Cody Durden. His punches were very accurate. He's landing left hooks. He's landing combinations. Durden smoked him flush with a couple right hands. One of those right hands seemed to kind of like jitter his legs, but he's Peruvian. So his punch resistance is fantastic. He takes everything Durden gives him. He gives it right back to him. Credit to Durden. Durden took some nasty shots in that first round too. Now in the second round, this Peruvian kid Ochoa, well, his chin is still fine and his cardio is still fine. Whereas Durden just took a bunch of damage in that first, and now he's tiring. So now you just know he's a dead man walking in that second and the third round. He never made the third round because he just gets diced in the second. And sure enough, Ochoa, really fast. This kid's fast. He's got power. I like him. He's young. The flyweight division, it's like there's tons of guys for him to compete against and be competitive against. Decent prospect that by flyweight standards probably runs up the ranks and does some okay stuff. So quality win for Jose Ochoa. For Cody Durden, I'd love. I hate to be like, oh man, what a step backwards, and what does he go from here? But realistically, he's an entertainer. And again, there's a lot of fun flyweight fights at him. There's a lot of guys in the division he still beats. The UFC enjoys these guys that come out, put it on the line. So no doubt about it that he'll be back in some form or another. Moving on, we've got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Moutinho. Can't spend too much time on this one. What I will say is that Wellmaker on one hand, yeah, the kid's fast, he's accurate, he's nasty striker, got some legitimate power. Knocking at Chris Moutinho is not nothing, and I kept saying about how Moutinho had taken such a drubbing against Sean O'Malley, and I'm going to pay Moutinho, don't get me wrong, but I kind of thought that Moutinho might be tough enough to last the over 1.5, which was plus 160 for a while. Ended up getting nuked and being a bad price, but I want minus 160. It made sense. Moutinho's tough. If anything, that's pretty well all he's got is a little bit of toughness. So maybe he can just tough it out that first round. But Wellmaker's not that guy. If you can't take a punch and you want to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you want to stand in the pocket, you want to come forward. Moutinho kept leaving his head open, or better yet, Moutinho would fade away, hands low, fade away. It's like, dog, that'll work initially, sorry, but like once he figures out the timing and the distance, he's going to step into that punch and catch you on the end of it and put you out, which is actually what ended up happening. So for Chris Moutinho, he's now technically 0-3. It's his second run in the UFC, 0-3. Terrible way to cap it off. I mean, you get knocked out in the first round in your comeback fight. What do you do with this kid? He's 32 years old. He's taken a bunch of damage. He's been knocked out officially in all 3 of his UFC fights. He's the bottom end of the division. You owe him one more, and they'll give him one more. And it won't be Wellmaker, and he won't be a minus 2,000 underdog. All the same, though, Moutinho is just so goddamn limited. And for Wellmaker, he's 31, which seems a little old for someone with their second fight in the UFC. But this kid could skyrocket up the rankings if he keeps doing what he's doing. I mean, knocking out Cameron Simon in his debut, I thought that was impressive. But Simon can't really take a punch. Then he knocks out Moutinho, which is still impressive. But Moutinho can't really take a punch. We don't know anything more about Wellmaker than we did before the fight. We know he's fast. We know he's got nasty power. We know he's a good striker. Well, we still know that. Nothing's really changed. You don't know about his cardio. Don't know about his ground game. You don't know about his heart. You don't know about his resolve. But he's a legitimate prospect. You can't take that away from him. So the UFC realizes now at 2-0, 31's not old. That's the prime of your career. He's right in the prime. But being right in the prime, you don't want to take 2 years and build this guy up to a 6-0 record and have him be 33 taking meaningful fights. You probably start to throw him in some meaningful fights right away. And so I'd be interested in seeing who they match him up with and then what his lines are, because very similar to a Peyton Talbot, everybody's sold on him. They love him. He's a good striker. He's a hot prospect. He's got really good power that people will oversee the holes or the potential holes in his game that we just don't know about yet. So give Wellmaker Roundy Barcelos next time out and see what's up. Good litmus test, but I don't think he should be fighting a veteran of that caliber just yet. Give him a few more, but yeah, at some point he needs to start racking up some ranked victories and get his name out there for real. Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. Again, I had the over 2.5, and then I took some Court McGee by decision at plus 450, thinking Michael Chiesa is not going to take him down. If he does take him down, I'm going to submit him, and if it stays standing, Chiesa's got no volume. Court McGee's going to beat him up in a sparring match, which played two-thirds of that played out to be true. Chiesa didn't take him down, and Chiesa certainly didn't out-grapple him or get a submission, but Chiesa's volume looked way better. It was a terrible fight, absolute bog. But Court McGee's been known to do this. If you watch his fight with Carlos Condit, he mostly just has a sparring kickboxing match with him. He respects Condit. Condit respects him. They're both older guys at the time. Neither of them really go for it. It's a real boring fight. This Chiesa fight was the exact same. Chiesa's a lot bigger than him. Therefore, he was able to keep him at the end of his shots. Court's got this little, it's like a tight stance. So he's marching forward and he's eating shots. He had a small cut over his eye. I think visually the blood streaming out of his eye did not look good. And so in these close rounds, you'd be prone to just give them to Chiesa. Personally, I scored at 30-27. Chiesa, first round was close, 15-10, but I thought, again, Chiesa landed more shots, and I thought he maybe landed slightly better shots. Second round, Chiesa all day. It's just a volume game, right? 24-17. Third round, Chiesa 33-12. It's not like Court did anything wrong. It's just I expected Chiesa to be the low volume guy, and it ended up being Court, the low volume guy. To me, it doesn't matter because I was more invested in this over 2.5. That seemed to hit pretty effortlessly, but still, a dog play would have always been nice. He was the PRP pick. Not that the PRP was intact at this point, but would have been good to maybe hit a little Court McGee action and a plus 450 by decision. Of course, I would have loved to have that. But that was not close. To be honest with you, I thought he lost 30-27. Poor performance for McGee. Poor performance for Michael Chiesa. Not a good fight. Not a good fight, but Chiesa, the rightful winner, gets the job done. Where does he go from here? No idea. They need older guys that don't pose most risks, like Court. And for Court, he's kind of in the same thing. He'd be a good barometer test for a young up and comer, contender series type guys. But should he be in that role? Should Court McGee at 38 be fighting guys that are making their debuts in the UFC or two fight veterans in the UFC or contender series guys? No, you got to book them with these old guys, and there's very few and far between of these old guys still on the roster. So Court's in a unique position. They'll book him once a year in a weird type fight. Chiesa, yeah, low key, he's now on a 3-fight winning streak since coming back from injury. So I don't. He's not serious. He doesn't want to be a contender, but he's moving his way up the ranks ever so slightly. And I don't know. They'll continue to book Michael Chiesa. Just I got no expectations for him long term. Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. Yeah, strange fight with a bunch of controversy. So yeah, I got Bellato. I ended up going Bellato on the second line. Was that a good idea? Nah, probably not. But if you look at it from my perspective, a lot of the big favorites on the card, guys like Malik or C, thank God we didn't go high with him. They weren't adding anything, and it wasn't like they were the biggest walks in the park type fight. So with Rodolfo, not a walk in the park, but he was minus 350, right? Money was coming on in on Paul Craig. The line wasn't terrible. Ricky Simone had moved from 510 to 350, and Bellato had moved from 450 to 350. So I ended up going, well, Ricky went to the top, I suppose, with Rose. But Bellato ended up being on the second line, way riskier than Ricky, but I think he can still get the job done. He's a big brute. He's a power puncher. His takedown defense is far too good for Paul Craig to take him down. And at some point, he's just going to walk Craig back and clonk him with something. First round didn't really play out like that. To be honest with you, Bellato's swinging nukes. And you could see from the weigh-ins where they're both painted up, I should have taken the over 1.5. It was minus 120. I guess I had some. I should have loaded up on the over 1.5. But when I saw them at weigh-ins, both painted up, both getting in each other's faces, both getting aggressive, I kind of start to get cold feet ever so slightly, simply because Paul Craig really doesn't have durability. Bellato doesn't have durability, and they look like they're going to go out there and they're just going to throw down. The first round, Bellato was attempting to do that. The punches he was throwing, they were missing. They were colossal bombs from the hip side. If they landed, this fight's over. Just fortunately, none of them did land. And so Paul Craig just kind of kept to the basics. He's using his leg kicks, he's using his jab, he's using some of that range. He's allowing this guy to come in and swing mad, and then he's stepping out of the way. He's essentially matadoring this aggressive bull. And I thought he won the first round. He outstrikes him 17-10. Not that any of his punches were super significant, but he was outworking him. He was making him miss. When you look at the total strikes, it's 40-16. Short little elbows, short little knees, short little clinch positions. Paul Craig went 0 for 6, but he did have, I don't know, only 34 seconds, I suppose. He did have some moments of pushing up against the cage, maybe landing some short stuff. It's a first round for Paul Craig as far as I'm concerned. Second round, sorry, there's 1 second left in this round. What ends up happening is Bellato gets his takedown. He gets on top of Paul Craig. It's a round that I otherwise think Paul Craig is winning, but there's not much time left. Paul nukes him with an up kick to the face. Now, lots of ways to look at this situation. One, nowadays, depending on the commission, 1 knee down is not a grounded opponent. Like Ontario, if you got 1 knee down, it has to be 3 points of contact. You gotta have like 1 knee in both of your hands. 1 knee ain't doing it. If you just got both of your hands on the ground, it ain't doing it. You're getting knee to the face. So this illegal up kick is actually legal in a bunch of commissions, but in Georgia, it is not legal. And so whether he knows that or not, I don't care. It's just that's the fight game. I got hit with an up kick. Well, this is Japan. It's allowed all day. This is the Philippines. It's allowed all day. This is in a bunch of commissions. In North America, it's allowed all day. Just happens to be in this commission, you can't do it. And so for that reason, it's like, yeah, a bit of a bad beat for Craig. But here's the thing. Paul Craig nails him with an illegal up kick. You can't with a groin strike, dude. I was trying to kick his leg and it got him in the groin. With an eye poke, it's like, man, I had my fingers extended. I'm sorry, I got him in the eye. Those are incidental. A cage grab, a little harder to argue, but yeah, in the moment, oh man, he pulled me and I grabbed the cage. I really don't like cage grabs. What I'm saying is you can make an argument for those being incidental. A knee to the head of a grounded opponent. You can argue, I thought he was up, but a headbutt, a bite, a up kick when the guy's on top of you and you just nuke him one right in the face. It's intentional. They're always intentional. So I thought Bellato quit. I know that there's a lot of people raging on the internet. Half of them think he quit. Half of them, good guys. John Kelly, great guy. Aaron Bronstetter, great guy. They're defending Bellato, saying he got legitimately knocked out. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. A lot of the same thing people are saying. One, he gets kicked. He right away looks at the ref. He right away puts both of his hands out to be like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then he immediately after that flops to his back. Now they'll say, "Ah, well, he hit the back of his head when he hit the canvas." Well, that was self-doing because he's looking at the ref doing this and then decides, "Oh, I'm hurt," and then slams his own head. It wasn't like he got picked up in the air and slammed. It wasn't like he dropped dead weight from a standing position. He's already on his back. He didn't look. And then from there, he decides to grab the ref, fish for a leg lock, try to advance position. It's like he knows he's fighting the ref. He knows he's being a bullshitter. I thought he flat out quit. John Kelly makes an interesting observation. He's like, "Well, I don't think he quit, but this guy's had a lot of damage in his career." What does that have to do with it? What does it have to do with the guy's been knocked out 4 times in his career? Now all of a sudden, what? His brain's mush? Why is he fighting that? His brain's so mush from getting knocked out those other times in his career that a up kick that he visually can look at the ref and say, "Dude, what the hell?" Ref says, "Hey, pause in the action." Then he says, "I'm Monday." Another interesting observation. Aaron Bronstetter, my buddy. I have a lot of respect and I love Aaron. He says, "Why would Bellato quit in a fight he's winning?" Winning, dog. What the hell are you watching? And Paul Craig outstruck him 17-10. The total strikes was 40-16. This thing's about to get out of the first round and go to his second. You think Bellato feels comfortable going to his second round now? You think Bellato feels comfortable that he just got outstruck standing by Paul Craig? He's launching nukes that are missing. You think he's winning? You think he doesn't want to weigh out? You don't think he doesn't want to just take this win right now and go home? Fuck yeah, he took the win and went home. Totally quit. Total quit job. It's just a personal opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? You watch something, you have a different stake on it. John Kelly says, "Well, we've seen delayed reactions, a lot of times." Like, yeah, we've seen delayed reactions. Charles Oliveira, you see him get clunked by Ricardo Lamas. Kind of takes a second. Oh, sorry, it was Cup Swanson. It kind of takes a second, does a stanky leg, falls over. You've seen delayed knockouts. Guy gets hit, takes a step back, falls over. You ever seen a delayed reaction where the guy gets hit? He looks at the ref. He goes, "Man, what the fuck?" Oh! It hits the ground. No, I never seen that. Total fucking fake job. Worse than Aljamain Sterling. Bellato's a shit fighter. He can't take a punch. He's one-dimensional. He's not good. If you chin him, Eor Pateria drops this guy. Obviously, his last time out before this, he gets dropped by Jimmy Crute. Vitor Petrino knocked him out on the regional scene and then knocks him out again on the Contender Series. Officially, with Paul Craig essentially knocking him out, it's like this guy's got absolute chin softer than a box of newborn puppies, and he's a quitter. He's got no heart. He's got a style that just marches forward and chucks. Whatever, the UFC is cool with it. But if this guy went to PFL, he'd probably go 0-2 and get cut. If this guy went to ACA, he'd go 0-5, and they'd keep him around to get drubbed on by Russian. He's a bum. He's a bum who took an easy way out. I got a minus 350 ticket. I wanted to cash. He quit. Now, we'll let you live with this last piece of advice or this last thing. As much as he quit, and I think he's a bitch ass, it should have been a disqualification all the same. Even though he was acting, even though he quit, even though it's clear as day, the bottom line is incidental foul occurred. Paul Craig nuked him with an up kick straight to the face. There's a lot of force behind it. You obviously meant to kick him. And you can say, "Well, I want to kick him in the body to create some space." Yeah, there's 1 second left, so getting up's not going to do you any good. And you didn't throw it to the body. You threw it to the face. But again, country bumpkin ref, zero idea what's going on. Says, he didn't mean to do it. Calls it a no contest. Could have won some money on it. Didn't. But all the same, if Bellato hadn't quit, maybe it would have gone to the second round and he would have quit in that second round and lost. So you just don't know. I'll take the no contest and I'll move on. Umar C versus Alonzo Menifield. Umar C minus 900. Alonzo Menifield was like the biggest underdog on the card, plus 500. Shout out to my buddy Lucrative James. He was on Alonzo Menifield and he was pretty vocal about it leading in. So I like people that take that big underdog, but then don't just float it out there as a maybe and then jump back to be like, "Well, I told you that maybe." Nah, he was on it. So there's a lot of respect there that I got for him. That's a solid dog play. I consider this one a win for myself, even though I got the pick wrong, in that I had him on the 4th line. That's got to count for something. It's a minus 900 favorite. This is the kind of guy people just randomly throw on their tickets and then they end up regretting it. I did use him, sure, but it's like Abdul-Malik, he's 900. He was someone that you could trust. Some of these Ricky Simones or some of these Edmund Shahbazyan's, I used all of them higher than I used Umar C at minus 900. Yes, I picked him, but I didn't go all in on him. I wasn't super heavily tied to him. And quite frankly, once Yeah, once C lost, it killed my fourth line with Horth was on it. I could have won a bunch more money if C's won, but the bottom line is I didn't have him tied to the if this guy loses, I'm having a losing weekend, and I think that in itself is somewhat sniffing out a fraud. But the onus is still on me. He was the pick. He's a pick for no other reason than you look at his proportions. He looks like a freak athlete. He's a young guy, 27 years old. He's getting his feet wet in the UFC. I explained to Paul on the preview show that I thought he looked awful against Da Ung Jung, but the numbers look good. Him versus Da Ung Jung, it's 90-29 with 2 takedowns. It looks good on paper. When you watch the fight, this guy didn't got it. He's got no fight ending power. He's got no punching combinations. His wrestling's really not all that good. His cardio's okay, but I mean, he seems to just like go through the motions at times. Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. This is an easy Menifield spot because, like, it was just so trappy for C. Even if you thought C was gonna win, a normal level-headed person would have maybe capped him at -275, -300. The fact that we had allowed him to get to -900, it's just like an auto bet. It's just an auto bet on the other direction, and I didn't do that. First round, C won, my opinion. He doubled up on the striking stats, didn't attempt any takedowns, but he's long, and Menifield gets off to a slow start. The second round, it's interesting because C gets a takedown. He gets 4 minutes and 13 seconds of control time. Nobody lands anything, but to me, C wins the round. So it's like I want to tell myself I'm up 2-0. I'm telling myself I'm up 2-0. It just feels real greasy still. This second round, the 4 minutes and 13 seconds of control time, it's not on the ground. It's standing cage control. He's holding him up against the cage and nothing's happening. 5-2 in significant strikes, but only 8-7 in total strike. Neither of them are doing anything, and that leaves it subjective. Similar to way Torrance Finney wins by holding up against the cage, the onus is on you to get off of the cage. And so I thought C won the round, but obviously wasn't enough. I needed a good third round out of him, and he just didn't go out there and perform. I mean, he shot 1 takedown. There's a lot of nothing, no standing cage control, no fight ending power, no combinations. Menifield really didn't do much, but Menifield was counterpunching well. He sat, he waited for C to lead the dance, throw a 1-2, and he would counter with the right hand. And then, even though it was just a small little chopping hand, it is enough. He kept this thing close. I prayed to the high heavens that they would get it right and go 2-1, but unfortunately they didn't. And again, I'm not blaming anybody. It was a trap line. I fell into the trap. I'm just thankful that I didn't go all in on it. But C's not good. He looked bad against Dawang Jung. He looked bad against Alonzo Menifield, and it's not any serious knock on him. He's still 27. These are tough fights. Dawang Jung in a debut, damn. Alonzo Menifield is a second fight. I'm willing to give you a pass. You go back to the drawing board. First pro loss. Go by the drawing board. Figure out what you went wrong. Make some improvements. Probably change training camps. I think would do him wonders. Not that you got to leave your coaches, but this guy's got to get out of his familiar setting. And he could still be okay, but he needs to add a whole bunch of wrinkles to his game. And for Alonzo Menifield, that's just a great gatekeeper performance. You're a gatekeeper. You're not top 10. You're not top 15, but you're more than capable of hanging with guys on that fringe end and showing who's real and who's not. If you're good enough to beat Menifield, then you're good. If you're not good enough to beat Menifield, it's right back to the back of the line. And that's what happened to Omar C. Cody Brundage versus Malik, Mansour Abdul-Malik. I think everybody expected Malik just to run right through Cody Brundage. The over 1.5, plus 170. Who doesn't love it over 1.5, especially with plus money? But Brundage is just such a bum that it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just take Malik straight up. Malik, though, can be a bit of a slow starter, I've noticed. He sometimes takes the first round off, doesn't have the most sense of urgency. And so in this fight, I thought that's what he did. He took the first round off against Brundage. He's not really throwing anything. He's trying to find his distance. He's trying to find his timing, but Cody's just kind of outworking him a little bit, which is just a bad look. The second round is also not a great round, but I feel like Malik starts to find his groove a little bit, doing okay. It's a close and competitive second round, but I feel like this thing's 1-1, worst case scenario, everything to fight for in the third round. Here's the thing. I think it's 1-1. Maybe people at home think it's 1-1. Malik thinks it's 1-1. Cody Brundage thinks he's up 2-0. So that's why he quits. He's a classic quitter. You can point out to him quitting against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, in which he collected a no contest. He quit against Jacob Malkoun, in which he was able to get a disqualification win. This is what he does now. If you hit him in the back of the head, if the ref says, "Hey, watch those strikes in the back of the head," the ref thinks those are the back of the head. Back of my head. The headbutt could be an eye poke, could be a groin strike. If there's a foul, this guy will take the easy way out. Now, he thought he was winning the fight. He thought, I'll take this, and just like the Malkoun fight, Hopefully, no, you can't get a DQ because it's incidental headbutt, but he thought it would be a technical decision and that he was up on the scorecards and that he would get the technical decision. So classic Cody Brundage. I would say when you look at guys with no heart, Brundage is the king of the no heart. I'm not gonna. I know I shit on Bellato pretty heavy. Bellato saw an opportunity and took it. And Cody Brundage, it's like I think he's going into the gym and game planning. Like, okay, coach, what do I do from this position? It's like, well, you could pop a hip, create some space, dig an underhook, and stand up. Or, dude, like, if you just like turn your head a little bit, just like wait until the punch comes up, and then the last second, give it one of these, give it one of these, and then he hits you, and then cry like a puss ass. That's Cody Brundage. I'm assuming he's going to the gym and training the stuff every day because he is. I honestly couldn't tell you how this guy even walks on a normal day-to-day basis, how he walks down the street. Because it's like, to my knowledge, and I don't know a ton of things, but like to my knowledge, you need a heart in order to like pump blood and like keep your body moving and basically be alive. And this motherfucker got no heart. This is the third time he's quit in a UFC fight. He thought he was up. The third round, for the record, he gets hurt right before the headbutt. Gets hurt, then the headbutt occurs. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I want out. The UFC needs to cut these guys. I don't care if they're not on 3-fight losing streaks. It's it's the entertainment business. And Cody Brundage, yeah, his last fight was actually super entertaining. So I feel like there's some recency bias. Oh, he had a really fun fight, and then this one was a stinker. It's a body of work. It's a body of work. He's had 12 fights in the UFC, 10 of them were stinkers, and he's quit 3 times trying to get disqualifications. Twice he got no contest. I guess he was trying to get a technical decision more than disqualification here, but I don't know. Mansour looked awful for another minus 900 favorite. He was not good. This guy wrestled like 2 years D1 at University of Indiana, sorry, Indianapolis. So yeah, I don't think his wrestling's elite. His striking's not elite. I thought he had some decent power. He looked like he has some okay power in his last couple of fights. Just waits a little too much, a little too patient. But when he hits you, he does some serious damage. In this case, he waited too long. He never really hit Brundage. He never really did any serious damage. And then he gets a technical decision in a fight he's getting outstruck 30-25 in against Cody Brundage. So yeah, pull the parachute on Mansour Abdul-Malik. He's not good. He's not a deep prospect. And Cody Brundage is just a total quitter. Cody Garbrandt versus Rodney Barcelos. Yeah, listen, the first round we looked good. We looked like we were onto the right thing. Cody Garbrandt's hands looked good, and he was getting that vibe again, similar to what he did against Dominic Cruz. He starts to feel good. He starts to feel confident. He starts to get his dancing going, but it was unwarranted. You outstruck him 10-6 in the first round. What was there to be dancing about? What was there to be styling about? But I think it's a confidence thing. He's trying to pump his confidence up. When Cody Garbrandt's confidence is high, he can hang with these guys. When it's low, I mean, he not cowards away, but he shies away, and then all of a sudden he starts to get hit, trying to convince himself he still got it. And I thought he won the first round, but in the second round, he does not still got it. Rowney really dogged him. He was constantly coming forward. He had faster hands, something I didn't necessarily see happening. Rowney's got good technical boxing. I've always been adamant of that, but hand speed. I thought Garbrandt would be able to intercept him on his way in, or just maybe land a quick combination, get out of dodge. His footwork wasn't bad. His hand speed wasn't there, so he kept getting dog walked. Second round, he loses it. I still got a 1-1, still everything to fight for in the third round, but Cody now needs to dig deep. And that's just really not something Cody's ever had to do. Again, I thought he fought valiantly and that he tried to land some shots go, but a lot of it was him backing up and then turtling. And that would allow Rowney to land a quick 2, 3, 4 punch combination. It looked good. A lot of it was blocked, but it looks good. You're constantly moving backwards. He's stinging you with shots. Garbrandt had chances to win for the plus money, and it wasn't a terrible dog pick. I had plus 425 by Cody Garbrandt by decision. That could have been cool. Had a good first round. Outside of that, he fell off. Hurts that I didn't back my boy Rowney Barcelos because solid victory for old man Rowney. But yeah, all the same, there's regression from both guys. Cody Garbrandt just couldn't keep the momentum going after the first round and ultimately fell apart. That puts him on a 2-fight losing streak. He's lost, he fought once last year, lost. It might have not only been his only fight, but UFC 300 was a year ago. Loses to Figueiredo, submission in the first round. Now he just loses to another Brazilian, Rodney Barcelos, fairly decidedly. Definitely lost rounds in 2 and 3, and just didn't really have much magic left in the tank. He can't fight the young kids of the division. They're going to do bad things to him. He can't obviously fight the old guys of the division. He's lost a step as well. So he's in a unique place. I don't know what the UFC does for him. With Raoni, it's like, yeah, the good times keep rolling. He's just gonna be a prospect killer or a gatekeeper. Real good test for guys to see where they're at. Raoni train keeps on chugging along. I'd love to see him versus Wellmaker just because him versus Talbot and he did that. But again, from a matchmaking standpoint, I do a lot of matchmaking myself. That's not something I would put together. Wellmaker shouldn't have to fight Rowney. But he's 31, and a win over Rowney does wonders for him. I don't know that that's the exact fight you do next. Andre Petroski versus Edmund Shahbazyan. Technically, I owe Paul a shoey bet on this one, but he was just so reluctant to take it. I told him Petroski would gas out. That was it. That was the only bet. I told him Petroski will gas out by the end of this fight, and that's it. Whether Shahbazyan knocks him out or doesn't knock him out, irrelevant. Is that the way to beat Shahbazyan is to tire Shahbazyan out, and then he's a round and a half type guy. You need a deep gas tank. You need a Gerald Meerschaert gas tank. You need a Fluffy Hernandez gas tank. Those guys take Shahbazyan to deep waters and drown his ass. Didn't think Petroski would have that kind of gas tank. And so I totally banked on the fact that he would gas out. I told Paul, if he does not gas out, I will do a shoey. And Paul wanted nothing to do with it. He had to do nothing. There was no, you have to do a shoey if he doesn't gas, or you have to do, there was nothing. I just offered to do free shoey. I was so confident Petroski would gas. And he did it. He lost, which we saw coming. He got stung a little bit by Shahbazyan. Shahbazyan, better striker. Shahbazyan's takedown defense looks solid. Did get taken down twice by Petroski, but it's 2 on 6 attempts, and he gave up 23 seconds of control time. So even when he got taken down, 4 seconds of cage control, 1 for 15 seconds, 1 for 2 for 4 seconds. That was an excellent job of Shahbazyan, stopping the takedowns, getting back up to his feet, winning the striking exchanges. But Petroski didn't gas. I'm gonna give him that. He kept coming forward. He's limited. He hardly throws shit. Even when he shoots takedowns, he doesn't chain wrestle. It's one big explosive shot, and then that's it. He fought more like he was trying to survive, let's say. But yeah, his gas tank held up real good. Edmund wins. Edmund wins, I thought, fairly straightforward. Shahbazyan didn't look like he's a world beater. He didn't look like he's making massive improvements to his game. It was a good stylistical matchup. Petroski doesn't pose tons of problems for him. And he won. Petroski's gas tank looked better than I thought. Otherwise, his skill looked exactly where I thought they'd be. Shahbazyan, meanwhile, I did think he would probably catch him in the under 1.5. I don't bet 1.5s. Unders, always with the overs, baby. But my brain was telling me the under would be the way to go if you were to attack it. Turns out I should have hit another decision prop. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Doesn't not matter. Shahbazyan got the job done. I needed him to get the job done because he was on the second line for me. So we're going to take that one. We're going to move on. Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. This one was interesting. This one was interesting because come Saturday night, I got all these people hit me up saying, great picks, and I appreciate the insight and real good stuff, and we won money, and everyone's happy when they win money, myself included. Don't get me wrong. This is the type of fight that is on the top line. If Rose loses, we are effectively done. We lost all of our tickets, and it's a colossally bad night. And because she won, no one's going to fault me for it. But the bottom line is, I just want to bring up the play-by-play real quick. I just go to maybe MMA decisions. MMA decisions. Yes, probably spelled that super wrong, but all the same. You get the same thing. Random Maverick. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so SureDog's the only website I go to get like scoring, because they'll do every single round and it's 3 people scoring. And I like that, right? Twitter's all over the place and there's a lot of trolls. They'll be like, Random Maverick 10-8. It's like, come on, man, just tell me what your actual opinion is. But it's really trolling. So this is a website where the guys are giving you an honest take. The thing is that the guys that score from SureDog are among some of the fucking worst people that score fights ever. So they both have Random Maverick winning the first 2 rounds. So at that point, I'm like, oh shit, my ass, I'm screwed. And like that wasn't a good place to be. But yeah, they're wrong, and that's the main thing. First round, super close, right? Random Maverick edged her 20-17 on the significant strikes. I kind of thought Rose won the first round, to be honest with you. I thought she landed better strikes. So slightly more volume for Maverick, better striking output for Namajunas. I scored for Rose, but could fully admit that this thing is really close. The second round, it's the exact same thing. Rose got the 2 takedowns for 3 minutes of control time, but nobody had really landed anything. So in my mind, Rose wins the first round, but it's close. Rose wins the second round. Going to SureDog, the 2 of them scored the first round for Maverick. One of them did give it to Rose. All 3 give the second round to Maverick, despite 3 minutes and 5 seconds of control time and Miranda having landed 5 significant strikes. But it's the totals. This is what you don't see. It's the short little shots. It looks like work rate. So this thing could be 1-1. SureDog thinks you could be down 2-0. In any event, it's close. It's like whoever wins this third round is gonna edge this thing, but I don't feel good about it at all. And in the third round, virtually nothing happens. Rose does land a few strikes. She does get some control time on a botched Miranda Maverick tried to take the fight to the ground. Doesn't And anyways, not a good fight. Striking numbers are 25-25. Rose had 6.5 minutes of control time. To me, that was a lot more telling. But because there are at least two people out there that have scored the fight for Miranda Maverick, who's to say there's not two judges out there that have scored the fight for Miranda Maverick? And as soon as they said 30-27, 30-27, it was like, hallelujah, we got to get this one right. And they did. So kudos to them. They got the one right. Miranda Maverick loses. Rose gets the win. Rose by decision. Rose the over 2.5. All that good stuff. Whatever. The main thing is I needed that win so bad, and I got that win so bad. Now, Usman was on a bottom ticket for PRPs that had been blown up, and because Rose just sealed the deal that we hit our top 3 tickets, it's like, yeah, let's get some action down on the main event. I was hyping Usman. Love this money line. Don't love the money line. Just thought he would win, and the number was way off. I cowered it out. I should have taken money line Usman, or I should have taken Usman by decision. I just don't have the cojones. And the over 4.5 was plus 105. I'm not greedy. It's plus money. I won some money tonight. I'm not running to give it all back. So I thought if Buckley won, it would still hit the over, and if Usman won, it would still hit the over. Instead of putting a flag in the ground definitively and chasing real plus money, I kind of took the cheesy way out. Just took the over 4.5. And then Usman, made me look smart. The total striking numbers, it's like super, it doesn't tell you the story at all. 44-41 in favor of Buckley. Total strikes is the real story. 137-51. I did punch stats. I always tell people, like, I've done everything in this industry. I've been a promoter. I've been a matchmaker. I've been a cornerman. I've been a referee. I was a punch stat guy one time. And I remember I did it for 2 events, and I was with another punch stat guy once. He would get quarter in the blue corner, fighter in the blue. I get fighter in the red, and we would just individually count stats for those guys. And then my numbers were way higher than his, and I would be like, "Man, your guy kicked my guy's ass. How come I got so many strikes landing and you got nothing?" And you explained to me a lot of it's block shots. To me, if I punch you, if I throw a kick and it hits your forearm, you blocked it. Well, some people say blocked, didn't land. Fuck, what you talking about? And it busted this guy's arm. Who broke their arm earlier in the fight? Oh, yeah, Petroski. Petroski in the 3rd round, he breaks his fucking forearm. You think this guy looked to quit? No, he showed some serious perseverance. The kick lands. If you punch a guy to the head and he puts his hand up and it hits the hand, it's blocked. It is blocked. It didn't hit you in the head. Something still landed, right? And so then you say, oh, well, a short little punch to the body or a short little knee to the thigh up against the cage. It's not a damaging blow. It's not a significant strike. Yeah, but you're not feeling it. Guy stomps your foot 5 times. That's not significant. What are you talking about is not significant? You just stomped your foot. You got tiny little bones in your foot. Breaks one of them. What? Was that not significant? So yeah, it's hard to say. When you say, oh, Buckley outstruck him 44-41, dude. All Usman did was hold on, man. 12:57, 4 of 13 on takedowns, lots of control time. Dude, he held on. Buckley won the real fight. No. The reality of it is that he got outstruck 137-51. He got demoed. I scored this thing 4-1. I give the 5th round to Buckley. 2 judges. Sorry, 1 judge. Mike Bell. Mike Bell's got a 3-2. What the hell are you let's just break this down real quick, right? First round is 7-0 with 4 minutes of 25. Okay, well, we know we got that one. The second round is 10-3, right? Overall, 33-3 with 3 minutes of control time. The third round's like, oh, well, Buckley got 10-8 in the significant strike. Yeah, well, he got tripled up in the overall strikes, got taken down, and spent half of the round getting controlled. Round 4, okay, he comes to round 4. Still got outstruck, still got taken down, still got controlled. But I suppose that would be the 2 rounds. I suppose he gave him rounds 4 and 5. I didn't look at the scorecards. I'd have to check it out real quick. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. But even in that instance, I had it 4-0. Usman going into the 5th. Buckley won the 5th. Overall 4-1. And listen, for Buckley, he's still young enough that, like, this is fine, dude. You headlined a card against a former champion. You lost, but you lived to tell the tale. You're probably going to learn lots from this. You'll go back to the drawing board. You'll make improvements. Life goes on. For Usman, he's 38. He was on a 3-fight losing streak, sorry. This was do or die. He needed to win. He came in good shape. He fought a good game plan, and he extended his career for at least a few more meaningful fights. Just want to say the last thing, and I got to get out of here. It's Father's Day. I got some shit to do. But the last thing I will say on this one is that I'm really sick and tired of hearing, and I hope that we can all go back to a simpler time where we didn't do this. It's just like going beyond. I understand he's 38. I understand he's been through a lot. And I never want to hear people bring up his knees ever again. It's like the last 4 years of Usman's career, that's all you hear. If you hear a take or someone says why they're fading him or that why they're hesitant to bet him, it's always the same shit. Oh, his knees. Motherfucker, none of these Russian guys got knees. They don't got ACLs. If you've been grinding your whole life, it ain't there. But you do guys, you got great doctors and you got stem cell therapy and you got treatments and you can go get injections and you can lube it up. And this guy's a professional athlete who's still not even 40 years old that trains at a very high level. His knees are fine. He's not taking a fight because he can't walk. He's not walking down the street on crutches because his knees can't handle the contact of being on concrete. Like, no, man, he's a prize fighter. They're all banged up. That guy's got a bad labrum. That guy's got a bad hand injury. Bellato apparently has a brain like mush because he's been knocked out so many times. I don't know. Everybody's got something they're dealing with. Usman, we keep saying, oh, no, I'm off that narrative, but it's like, oh, his knees. It's like, okay, well, he got a head kicked by Leon Edwards. I mean, shit happens. He was looking pretty good till then. The third fight, the last one he had lost, I didn't think he looked good there, but I can't say it was his knees. He got 4 takedowns. Him versus Chimaev, he, on one judge's scorecard, won round 2 and 3, settled for a majority decision. One judge had the fight a draw. Definitely won the third round, fought valiantly as shit on short notice, up a weight class. Knees seem fine to me there. And then sure enough, it just keeps coming up. So the people that were on Buckley were all, he can't take these, I don't know, just bad knees, can't take it no more. I don't know. It was a weird look. Usman got the win. Should have been heavier on the money line. Should have been heavier on the Usman by decision. Unfortunately, wasn't. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Hope you guys cashed. And of course, next week we'll catch you to do it all over again. All the best, guys. Cheers.